We left off with Ms. Jayapal is recognized for 5 minutes to speak on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to bring us back to the issue at hand, which is this excellent and very sensible amendment offered by Ms. Scanlon to simply examine the threat posed by a nationwide abortion ban to women's lives, reproductive health, bodily autonomy, and equality. And I think this is such an important issue that the majority of the country, Republican and Democrat and Independent, agrees on. And we've seen it in terms of initiatives that have gone to the ballot, even in Republican states, making sure that those states preserve the right to abortion. And unfortunately, for those who think this is not really something that's going to happen, 13 states, Republican states, already have a ban on abortion, and 101 members, Republican members of the House, signed on to the House version of Senator Graham's nationwide ban. So this is a critical issue, and I wanted to also bring some facts to the table. There are half as many abortions as 30 years ago. 6 in 10 women who seek abortions are mothers already. 90% of abortions happen in the first trimester, so this idea that there are many late-term abortions simply isn't the case. The majority of women who have abortions are in their late 20s. Many of them want to finish and get education, schooling, other things that allow them to take care of families. And half live under the poverty level. Almost half are single. 1 in 4 women across this country has an abortion, and this is a freedom. It's a basic freedom. It's an economic freedom. It's a reproductive freedom.
Well, General, to you.
No, I won't. To make choices about our own bodies. And it's unfortunate that this is a partisan issue here in this committee and this Congress, because it isn't partisan across the country. If my Republican colleagues do indeed value life so much, as you say you do, and I want to accept that premise, and if you care so much about our babies, then I would urge you to support the child tax credit, which cut child poverty in half when we offered it. None of you supported that. I would urge you to support paid leave. I would urge you to support universal child care. I would urge you to support universal pre-K. It doesn't make sense to value lives until they're born, and then once they are born to say, we don't care about those babies anymore. The reality of this is that I think many of the members of this committee who have spoken on abortion on the other side have not been in a situation to have an abortion. I have. I'm one of 1 in 4 women across this country. And I know that this is fundamentally an issue of freedom. It's an issue of being able to make choices about our own bodies. And I would submit to you that in listening to my colleagues on the other side, I can tell you that Democrats are the party of freedom, of family, and of faith, because we believe in people's freedom to control their own bodies, to have economic security. We believe in all kinds of families and supporting families to take care of the kids that they ultimately have. None of these decisions are easy, and none of us is trying to tell anybody to have an abortion or not to have an abortion. All we're saying is that it is an extremely difficult and personal choice, and we do not believe in forced pregnancies. We do not believe in people having to make difficult, extremely difficult medical decisions because, or not be able to make those medical decisions because somebody in elected office told them that they couldn't have an abortion and make the right medical decision for themselves, the right economic decision for themselves. I know that was the case for me. There were a lot of issues that threaten the lives of pregnant people across this country, and when they make these decisions, they are extremely difficult, and they are extremely personal. I don't believe that this should be anybody's business but that individual. And so I would just urge my Republican colleagues to recognize that perhaps you're out of step with the rest of the country. Republican states and women in Republican states and families in Republican states are voting to preserve the right to abortion and are terrified of the impact of a Republican-proposed nationwide ban on abortion. So I support this amendment, and I thank the gentlelady from Pennsylvania for putting forward such a necessary amendment in this very scary time where, unfortunately, too many of my colleagues on the other side are trying to strip away and pass a nationwide ban that would hurt people across the country. I yield back.